No problem. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
The presenter is not here.
No, we're recording this.
The presenter is not here yet, Dean.
You're the presenter.
Ah, I thought Dean Valencia.
You're the presenter.
Ah, so right.
It's actually really popular for the students, this, isn't it? It's a pretty good turnout.
Yeah. And we run it bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks. So
With what?
we run every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they were saying, you know, these hardcore things. Yeah. Before, right?
Yeah.
Advanced contracting measurement.
I'm not going to do the presentation. I'm going to do the measurement class.
Then we'll still upload it to the YouTube.
See how they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yes, why not? Wow.
Measurement or estimation if you.
You do costuming too, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
I'm doing it at the moment.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Ah, with Leanne.
With Leanne.
Ah,
Yeah.
you got the hardest one, Leanne.
It's a pretty hard subject.
Yeah. Why are you doing it?
What do they call it? Professional development.
Oh, professional
Development.
Yeah.
Ah.
We're still waiting back.
And also, no, we don't have to though, do we? But no, I did it because I did measurement residential last semester because I hadn't done that because I did construction and I really loved that. So I thought, well, I'll try cost planning. But it's a bit harder.
US on you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Welcome everyone. Good to see you all here again. And then for the fourth of our construction infrastructure forums.
Today we're welcoming Tom Burrow as the Chief Quantity Surveyor at Fletcher Living. Tom is going to talk to us about One Central, which is the major housing project in the inner city. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you. Terracotta. No Israel aho, ko Berliner Ifano, ko Tomaho, Kanuhi te mihi ki akoto. Terracotta. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming to the forum. As mentioned by Cam, I'm the Chief Quantity Surveyor from Fletcher Living. What I'm going to talk today is about what we're doing in the city center. I can see a lot of students here, some of them I taught before. So I thought instead of doing the presentation, we're actually going to do a measurement class. I hope you got your class and paper because we're going to do some exercise. Just for interesting, so I'm ready just to see what I'm talking to. So I know there are QS students here. So who is a QS student? Yeah, all of you. Any project manager or any construction manager? Okay, so majority is QS. Okay. So I'll try to tailor it. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is Fletcher Living and what we're doing in the city center. We're doing other development outside the city center. The one Central. So I don't know how many of you, probably a lot of you not been here, 10 years ago. Is anyone from Christchurch here? Yeah, so few. So you probably remember 10 years ago, the big earthquake. So after the big earthquake of Christchurch 2010, 2011, basically Cyril and the government became what they called Christchurch blueprint. They decided basically to reshape the city center. So you can see here the map of what they're going to do. And basically they've done a few things, what they call the frame. So this meant to be the south frame. It's still under design, some of it done, some of it not. You got the health prison. It's where the hospital. They already built a new hospital, but this would be the health prison. You got the metro sport facility. So this is where the new swimming pool currently being built. You got the bus interchange that already been completed. You got the justice already done. You got the Avon River, which is around the Avon River, which is already also done. The performing art prison, it's still under design yet, not done yet. Stadium again, it's only yet, they got the land, but it's not done yet, and it's still under design and a few years away. But what we got, so this is what our used to be, it's what they call it the East Frame. And this is where they decided to bring people to live in the city. So the South Frame is more about commercial, commercial more about industrial a bit, but the East Frame, what they call it, east of the city, basically it's bringing people to live in the city. So basically the decision was to build up to 900 homes across 13 super lots. I'll just show you in a minute what the super lot. We're going to build a mixture of terraces and apartment typology, basically from 1 to 4 bedroom accommodation units. And the value will be from 350, 360 to 1.4 million. So give a lot of range and give people to come and live in the city. Stage 1, Superlot 4, 5, and 7, which we can show you soon. Total 172 dwelling. It's already now been completed. A big part of it's already been sold, so we can see already started people moving the city. Stage 2, Superlot 3, it's currently on site. Total 68 dwelling. It's going to complete it in early 2022. Under construction at the moment. And Superlot 6C, which is only a small one, it's total 10 units, and we're due to start it in the next, basically, in November. We just gone out to tender. Yesterday we finished all the tender, or we're going out to tender, and we're hoping to get the tender in 2 or 3 weeks, and then start to build it. 100% of the dwelling, they've been built to Homestyle 6. I don't know if you know what is Homestyle 6, but basically it's mean that they've been built higher than the code, mainly insulation value, accessibility, other things, waste management, how much waste you produce from site. So it's higher than the code, and it's basically Homestyle 6. You can do higher than this, and 50% of the dwelling are built to LifeMark 3. LifeMark 3, it's all about accessibility. If you're disabled, you're still able to live at home. It's means shower, easy to get the shower, bigger door, bedroom on the ground floor. So this is 50% of the dwelling. So those are basically the super lot. So you got basically Manchester here, Manchester City here. You got Madras City here. So this is all the basically the way it's run through the city. This is going to be the new stadium. Still waiting. And this is in the middle of this development, running what they call Aurora Park. So this has already been completed. If you go now to the city, you can basically walk through it. This is the Mehi playground. So we're basically building the other side of this. The idea that people basically come and live in the city. So as I say, those are Superlot 7. It's here basically. For the apartment, Superlot 7. Then you got the Liverpool terraces with Superlot 5. This is 6, and this is 4. So they're already been completed, and this is the one that we're working currently. And Superlot 6C, it's the one that we're going to tender, and probably the next one will be Superlot 10. So this is the next stage. So we're just going through working throughout it. The idea that basically 7 to 8 years to complete. And this is the way basically it looks right at the moment. So this is the Aurora Park, and those are the Superlot. So part of it's already been built, but this is just a view at the moment. So the first one that we started and the first one that we completed was Superlot 4. It's basically, it's around, this is Latimer Square, this is what Manchester Street, Hereford and Wester Street, and this is Superlot 4. So when we sat originally and thought, are we going to do it and what we want to put on it? So this is what the QS team, this is what my team wanted to put there. Yeah, very cheap, quick to build, not a lot of expenses. Yeah, you can put a lot of people, but it will be very, very, very cheap to construct. Yeah, but what we end up with, it's basically this. So this is Superlot 4, and this is what basically we end up next. So Superlot 4, it's a 20 unit. Each of them got a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom. They're really flush. They're designed by Rowan and Mani architect. They won already the 2019 NZIA award winner. And basically, we got 20 different terraces here. They got their own parking. All of them got their own garages, and they're ranging from 170 to 220 meters square. They're all on a 3-story, and they're really, really nice. They're really flush. All units have single or double garages. Some have additional great parking site. And the construction already completed and title issued. They got 100% life mark on them, and they got one of them got internal lift, and we also got the option if we sell them, as we already managed to sell quite a lot, we can add lift to them. So you can basically, there's a place for a lift. We didn't put yet, but if the customer wants a lift, we can basically got already the space to insert the lift. So they are really, really high quality unit. They are probably the highest that we're going to build in the city center. I can show you some of the internal photos, so it's the way they look. Yeah, next one, yeah. So you can see the really, really nice, unit. All timber flooring, double oven, double fridges. Yeah, they're really, really nice. Open stairs, yeah. You can see some of the bathrooms. So they're really fully tiled, 2.7 high. They are really, really top quality, but they are basically, and they're also very big. So the 3-story, 170 to 20, and this is probably more aimed to some of the people that want to live in the suburbs. They got a big family arm, and they want to come into the city center and live. So already a few people that basically decided to move away from the big family home and move to something like this. So yeah, we already finished the construction of this one, and if anyone want to buy one.
Any discount?
Yeah. So this is the Superlot 4 was the first one that we done and we completed. The next one that we started after Superlot 4 was basically what we call now the Bedford apartment, because we got the Bedford Row, I'll show you in a minute, and the Bedford terraces, which we call Superlot 7. So again, what we done, we gone to a different architect. If you can look here, this is the Madras Street, Manchester Street is here. Litchfield, Cashel. This is the IRD building, old IRD building, what we call. This is the car park. This was Superlot 6 going to be. And yeah, and this is what we call Bedford Road. So Bedford Road, I'll show you in a minute, used to be a road that goes through. So it's basically designed by another architect. We're trying to mix and match, trying not to have all the developments look the same. So this is done by Architectot. It's surrounded by, Aurora Park always. So basically we got the main building here, so in a minute we got 44 apartments on a 5-level apartment building. This is the first apartment building that we built in town, and basically the apartment building got 1 to 2 bedroom. Then we also got basically 50 terraces houses. They're ranging between 1, 2, and 3 bedroom. They're ranging between 50 meter to 130 meters square. Again, we're trying to make it available to the widest range of people, for someone who just wants 1 bedroom, a rental, or somebody wants 2 or 3 bedroom. On-grade parking, none of them got parked, they're all on-grade, and the construction completed only 3 months ago. It meant to be finished early, but because of the COVID, it's a bit delayed. If we go to the next one, so this is the way the site look. So this is the Madras Street, Aurora Park running here, and this used to be the Bedford Road. So the Bedford Road used to be a street originally running all the way from Madras to Manchester. So when we built this development, we did not have any choice. We knew that this is going to be the main car park. So in this case, we knew that we cannot start to get the car into this. So this is a bit different from Christchurch. You don't have your own car park. You come, you park here, and then you walk into your on the terrace, or you walk into your apartment. But none of them got their own garages. So basically, we got building 7, which is 9 units. I could show you some photo. Those are basically the 3-bedroom houses, 2-story, 3-bedroom. We got building 6, which is a 2/1, what we call. So downstairs we got 1-bedroom unit. Upstairs you go up, you go the 2-bedroom, 2-story unit. Building 3 and 4, there's a lane. 3 and 2, very similar to 6, and you got building 1, which is the 5-story apartment. So, yeah, this is starting to show you when we started construction of the apartment. And I can talk about construction a bit later if you got more time. We go next. So this is basically a view from a drone. Here, using a drone sometimes to take some picture. This is what we call building 7, 6, 4, and 5. You can see here 3, 2, and this is the apartment block. So because we had the parking here, we're trying to create more community space, and it actually gave us the opportunity to create more community place that you don't use the car inside the development. Normally, you got road going into your unit, which make it less places for people to meet and gather. If you take some next photo, next one, this is view. Yeah, so basically we created this is the way it's look. This is building 7, 4 and 5 and 6. So you can see you got courtyard between. Those are the next one. Yeah, you got some courtyard, place to people to gather, to meet, place for the resident, more like living together a bit. This is the row between building 4 and 5. So again, you can sit on your step if it's a nice day. And those are some of the internal apartment. We go back a second.
Oh, go back.
To the apartment. So if you can
go back, maybe.
A bit more, one more. Yeah, no, it's fine. So this you can see the apartment block here. So it's basically a 5-story apartment building. We managed basically to put everything to the west, because on the east going to be the stadium. You got a better sun on the west, so they're all facing one way. So when we build it, we done quite a lot of cost exercise originally. All our QS team, we done quite a lot of cost exercise looking at the best way to construct the building. We try with the steel frame. We try a combination of steel and concrete. What we end up basically using is a traditional precast concrete building. I think this is the first building in New Zealand, or one of the first, that we got we all done some technology. You got the weld plate connected between the precast, but those weld plates are specialized that allow the precast to move. They have to be tested, but it allows us basically to use a smaller size of the precast panel. Yeah. So, and it's basically 5-story high. This is a typical view. This is the way living room in apartment. You got the bedroom behind. So the bedroom would be to the east, and all this is the west side. This is where your living room. And they're renting from 1 basically 2-bedroom apartment. The next one that we done after Superlot 7, it's Superlot basically 5, what we call the Liverpool terraces. And it's basically, I don't know if this is where Les Mill is. Les Mill, yeah. Got Cashel, Hereford, Manchester, and this is basically surrounding Les Mills. And those are we just build basically terraces. So we'll talk about later if you got about the difference between terraces and apartment, especially for the QS team, for the QS people here. But basically it's all terraces, and the ranging again, quite a big range from 50 meter, 1 bedroom to 148, 3-bedroom terraces. Some got car park, some don't, and construction already been completed, and quite a lot been sold. Yeah, so this is the way to develop it. You can move next here. I think it's a photo. Yeah, sorry, move back a second. So this is what I talk about, the difference between, because here basically what we done, we brought basically the car park into the development. So, there's less community space, but people prefer it because you got your own garage. In order to have your own garage, you need basically to have a road inside to bring your car in. So found that people prefer to have their own garage if it's possible. They like to come in, drive into the garage. So this is the way this development done. Majority, basically, lot of the development. Again, you drive from here, and some of those houses got garages. Some have got basically parking in grade. But all the people, all the residents got car park. Those are some of the picture from the back. Some of the images. I think there is a real one in the back. If you move on. Yeah, so this is the full development. Again, it's developed by another architect. It's context. It's very different from the one we built before. Those are very traditional build. Basically, majority of them are timber frame construction. You need to have some portal if you go to 3-story high portal frame. But majority, it's a timber frame with a plaster system on the outside. It's a very, very traditional construction. This is a big ILD and Superlot 7BI. Again, it's a range. You got from the 3-story, 2-story, different range of building. Yeah, and this is what we call Superlot 5. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And this is another picture from the top. It's quite for the QS student. It's quite when obviously we're trying to build a lot of apartment into this project. But for the quantity surveying point and for development point, it's really, really hard because apartments are quite hard to build, and the cost per meter square of apartment is a lot higher than traditional timber frame building. You need to deal with acoustics, fire. You need to bring people up. There's a lot of issues with apartment. When you go 5, you need to use different cladding. If you go above 12 meter high, facade engineer, it's all changed. If you're building for QS, if you're building a unit 2 or 3-story high, you can put a facade that costs $200 a meter square, or brick even less, 180. You can with the plaster system, $200 a meter square. When you start to go for the 5-story high building, you need to put a facade. Facade engineer will approve. Then you start to go to things that cost $600, $800 a meter square. This is why the majority of the city center, if you look, is built, for almost everything is windows, yeah. And again, they cost $1,200 a meter square. So as you go higher, your facade system becomes a lot more expensive. Once you got the facade engineer, yeah, it's all going up. You don't have a choice. So the best for us, the best return that we got on our for development, the best return that we got is when we put a lot of simple unit. But again, we got pressure because we don't do this development alone. We do it with we got a partner, which is the government of Takara, and we got the pressure to put as high as possible and to have as many units basically as possible. Obviously, with the partner, you can put a lot more people in. Yeah, it's a bit of pressure between the return that we want in development and what the government wants pressure us to put in. So this is Superlot 5. Yeah, it's finished a few months ago and it's very successful. And yeah, quite big high percentage against sold. And yeah, and this is the bills. Yeah. The next one that we currently started, like last year basically, we call Superlot 3. Which is here again, Latimer Square, Superlot 3. You got Gloucester, you got Worcester, you got Manchester, and you got Latimer Square. So this is Superlot 3, and this is again, it's designed by another architect. Again, we moved to a different architect. So Shepherd and Rouse designed it, and then you got Aurora Park here, and it's 40 terraces house, 2 or 3 bedroom house, and we also got 28 apartments. So what we call it's a mini apartment, it's a walk-up, basically it's a 3-story high, walk-up, and the rent ranging from 50 to 160 meters square, single garage on grade, all unit got park, and we hope to finish construction in early 2022. It's completely different to what we've done until now. Again, it's a different look, a different construction. Those we decided with the architect and the engineer, some of the buildings are quite a lot more complicated here, especially the walk-up, and we decided to make it completely different, and all the units basically, no timber frame, all built from brick house, with exposed brick house on the outside. So yeah. So those are the basically, this is the way I show you the site. It's a lot of units, 68 unit. You'll have a big car park in the middle. Some of the unit around the car park obviously will have a car park, and some of the units on the way around will park in grade. Yeah, so those are some of the photo. So we use basically all the unit will have a, whatever we use precast. It's really economic from a QS point of view. If the precast that you use, if you don't need to clad it, yeah. So then it's become a really good system. If you need to put a cladding on top of the precast, then it's suddenly not make a lot of sense, yeah. Obviously, so it's also acts as the structure of the building. You can also use it as your cladding, which is suddenly makes sense. So all the precast basically got the timber strip, so they look quite nice. If you can move to the next one, this is when it's going to finish. So it will be really, really nice development. All precast unit. There will be cladding, different cladding to the front. But majority will have a precast unit. So this, we're going to put some trees, but we're not going to put those trees. Yeah, this is not the architectural impression how it's going to look. Yeah, if you run through, there is some photo. Yeah, this is the way you got some cedar cladding of some of them. So they are really, really nice, balconies. Yeah, they're really, really nice unit. And this is a typical precast, how they're going to look. Yeah. This is the idea of them. Nice unit, yeah. So this is basically when we started construction on site. So this is Latimer Square. This is Square. Sorry, this is Aurora Park, and this is when we started construction on site. So let's talk about the big construction in our inner city construction, or construction manager and the QS. So we really got some challenges when we work on city center site. There is, you can see here, there is a lot, basically, you can see all the wrapping and everything. I don't know if you see men working with white suit. But basically, all our site, majority of the site got existing ground contamination. So this site used to have a lot of high-rise offices building. When they demolished them after the earthquake, they basically dropped a lot into the ground, clear what they can, and move on. Put some topsoil and move on. So a lot of the material that been from the demolition is still under the ground. Yeah. So when we start to work on the site, we need to check if the material is contaminated, i.e., if there is any asbestos, for instance, in material. And most of the site, especially the one to the south, they always got contamination. So the first thing we need to clear the site, or as much as possible. We don't normally clear it completely, but we make it safe for us to work. So some of the contamination will be left on ground or will be sealed, so it's not influence future resident. But as we're doing construction, as we're doing excavation, all this material that we excavated need to go to Cape Valley, which is take all the contaminated side. So from QS point of view, if you normally excavated clean material and you take it away, to dispose, how much you pay? Any done estimation here? When we deal with a big volume of material, we might pay $30, $35 to excavate, get rid, and dispose it, yeah, because it's a clean field. The difference, if you got contaminated material, you need to go to Cape Valley, and it suddenly becomes from $35 to $300.
74?
Contamination.
Yeah, is it?
No. Suddenly it's become from the contaminated for Cape Valley, it's go to $350. 10 times more, yeah? Go to Cape Valley. Yeah, so it's a lot more expensive. This size, we got around $1.7 million of material went to contamination. So a big part of the job, basically, contamination. So all the sites always got contamination. We also need to get rid of it. Yeah, so it's a massive part of the job, and it's from a construction management. It's really, you need to control it. Yeah, we cannot just lift it up, let the dust. So it's really control excavation. Yeah, do it slowly. You know, all the truck got big trailer, they need to be covered, you know, everything need to be done properly, need to be zoned. And then what we do, we clean as much as possible. We put a layer of clean, we put a layer of bitumen above it, we put a layer of a clean fill, then we can start to work on top of it, i.e. doing excavation or whatever. This is the first thing. The second thing that you see here, it's basically all the side basically got a really big dead ground, yeah, because it's normally what we call PC3 or got a lot of rubble in the ground. It's really, really hard to build on it. So we cannot just go on to building on it. We actually need to improve. We need to make the ground a lot better in order to make the structure of the boat. So we always look at different options. You can either start to take a lot of material out. I think in this case, I think we should take 2 meters of the ground out and bring a new material in and create a big rubble raft. So it's done. But again, if you imagine if you take 2 meters of material, it's all contaminated, the cost would be astronomical, not for the rubble raft, the removal of the material. So we need to look at other solutions. So what we're using here, basically, it's what we call like a stone column pile. Basically, we're creating a stone column, which are basically filled of gravel, and they're normally between 600-800 diameter to a meter. And we basically drill into the ground, drill 6, 7, or 8, 9 meters, depending what the requirement. And when they're coming out, they fill it with stone column, basically just gravel. Then they compact it as they go along. So basically, in this development, we put, I think, 1,200, yeah, 1,200 stone column into the ground. But when you put those stone column into the ground, you compact on the ground and make the ground a lot better. This is one of the things that we had to do for almost all our sites. And again, it's a slow process, but once we done move the contamination, put some protection, then we can do the stone column, and then it's the time we can start to build it, i.e. do the foundation. We spend a lot of money and time, you know, before we even put any concrete or any rio in the ground, yeah, just to make the site good for building. This will be all over all the site in town because, yeah, we know it's coming and it's really, really bad ground. So this is the start of the site. This is a bit further on as we move along. So you can see this is building 1, 2, and 3. They're already building 2, I think, got the first floor done. You can see the ribbon infill. You can see the timber. It's a picture from above. Building 2, just probably the slab. Building 3. So this is how, you know, when you work with construction like this, you don't just concentrate on one building. You basically work on all the front, you know. So, you know, this building got one, you know, in one stage. This is another. This is another. You can see here they're preparing the foundation now. But then building 4, you can see here they already finished probably all the ground improvement. So they're working. They already put the, you know, the gravel to ready for the foundation people to come next. Again here, and those buildings we're still working on the excavation and the removal of the contamination. So it's a lot of movement. It's a lot of, you know, a lot of trucks, a lot of big heavy vehicle on site. We also got a big crane here. It's a 180-ton crane. Basically, it's $9,000 a week just for the QS. This is how much you pay rental. Yeah, and it's going to be there for 6 to 7 months. Yeah, but basically, it's the one that pick up all the panel and put them in place. So this is just a small picture moving a bit further. This is just so you can see it, and I think you can maybe got another picture. Yeah, so this is already moving on, and all the side that you see before with, you know, this is the big crane, and all the side that you see before already now got precast panel. At this stage, we finished it all, basically all the contamination is done, clear, all the stone column been finished. Basically now a stage where most of the slab been done. We still got 2 or 3 slabs to pour, but the other building basically all got precast concrete. We got a lot of precast panel in this project. I think got around 458 panel in this job. It's quite a lot of precast panel. Yeah. Another interesting thing that we do as part of the as part of the city center development, One Central, we got a placemaking. So what the placemaking? We got at the moment, we got a lot of open sites that basically they're not yet construction site, but just an empty site. So what we work with the government, with basically with the organization they call Gap Filler, and we basically reutilize those empty sites for the community. The Superlot 9, we built the basket court, we got youth facility, we probably seen, you know, some of the ramp for the kids, you know, the big swing. We're doing concert on them, you know, this is Superlot 9, we do event, yeah, some of them they're always utilizing, and some of them got car park. So basically, it's a really, I think it's only $5 a day, but all the money that raised from the car park go back into the community. I think Fletcher Construction put around 1 million into those, just you know, just to help the, in order to keep, you know, it's really nice to the city to have it in. Yeah. Any time left or?
Question time. People.
Just one more hobby for you all. I think it's for QS or construction manager. We probably quite a unique place to work. Because in one sense, we acting as two organizations. You know, normally you work for other contractor as a QS, or you work for, you know, PQS. Or you've got construction manager working for, you know, construction company. The way we do things, we are the developer. So we actually are the developer, but we also the builder. So we also build those units ourselves. So basically, we got a team of site supervisor, project manager, quantity survey, development manager, and we even selling the unit ourselves. So we do everything in-house. So it means that it's quite interesting for the QS, especially to work, because in one way, to work as a, what you call as a PQS, we need to do all the estimate. In some cases, we work with the main contractor to build some of the big stuff. So like the civil work, so they do all the valuation, you know, they do all the payment certificate, financial reports, or the work is what the PQS normally do. But on the other side, we also act as a builder because we build all the units ourselves. So we employ basically carpenter or employ builders. Normally, they labor only, we supply all the material. So they need to engage all like a main contractor QS, they need to engage with all the trade contractor. So we almost do, you know, two sides. So it's really, really interesting for my team basically working with do everything, so it's quite interesting. Yeah. Yes.
Do you think that makes for a smoother collaboration, like better communication? Everybody's kind of on the same team.
Yeah. Enough of the time. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we do. Yeah, we also do a lot of the. We work a lot with the architect, but because we are the developer and the client and the builder, before we actually start to build, we make sure that we're going over the drawing. So make sure that we actually can build what we do before we normally start on site. So yeah. There's a lot of other things like, you know, we know what we're selling. So yeah.
How big is your team?
We've got 4 QSs. Yeah, in the sales. Yeah. So they got quite busy. This is not the only things we do. We do this thing, but we also building. We finished Well Street, which is a 150 unit. Well Street, we done Colombo. We also build in the suburbs. So our bread and butter is actually the suburb. So we build the standalone houses. At the moment, we finish in our TIA, I took 250 houses. At the moment, we got 2 new subdivisions. Basically, take the empty land and subdivide it. So you got one in Hoswell and one in Lincoln. I think it's going to be around 400 houses in the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years. So yeah, so those QSs also, yeah, they get busy, and yeah.
Tom, are you selling the houses in town? Is there a move into town?
Yeah, there's a really good book, yeah. And the Well Street, the one we done, is not part of One Central. I think we had 150 units, 50. I think there's only 2 left.
Is that by Smith City Market?
Yes, there's only 2 units left there. And some of those developments, you see, some of them got almost 70 or 80% sold. Yeah. So definitely people moving into the city. Yeah. Yeah, so this is good for us because we are the client and the builder. So we basically, I mean, from a QS point of view, I know you always want to build a square building, cheap as possible, but because we're also selling the unit, we also need to think about the end market, So Supernova 3 is a good example. We could have built originally when we started to think about precast, I thought about, square feet precast building, nice, simple roof, precast go up, done, really quick. If you look at the picture, there's a lot of what we call eyebrows and, all different the outside and all. Yes, it's a lot more expensive, but it's make the building a lot more interesting, attractive, So we don't want to create a city, that looks 10 years, everybody said, why did you build this? Obviously. So this is why I use different architects, all look different to me. And but we influence everything. So we influence for what foundation they're going to use, or we can ask the question, where do we engineer together find the most buildable, the most economic way, a ground improvement. So we always look at different options. We sometimes use stone column, sometimes use the gravel rod. So we'll do all the cost analysis, see what was the best. Same with, what type of, if you use a 5-story apartment, whether we use steel, precast, combination. So we'll do a lot of feasibility estimate to make sure that we get the best, the most economical of the structure. But the cladding, again, we'll the architect tell us what we want, but then we'll tell them what we want to put on the side. So sometimes it's make it really interesting to talk with the architect, obviously, but they know the name is on the building. But obviously we want also to make profit and not too expensive.
When you envisage like the frontage in Manchester Street, which is super long, 11 and 12, is it?
Yeah, 9, there's a 9, 10, 11, I think there's few
Still
of
to
them.
be done. How far away?
I think 10 is the next one after, 10, the next two, I think, will be on Manchester Street.
Yeah. And how many years away?
No, Supernova 10, I still discussing, but Supernova 10, we hope to start construction early next year. This will be an apartment block a lot higher again, because they want to put a lot more height to Manchester,
Oh, that'll be good.
It's quite easy for us because we are the builder, client, and selling, so we can control a lot of the process, and make sure that we're getting the right product. Coordination, we've done few of the building. We've done so we use basically the 3D, the rivet, on one of the apartment building 1. So the architect used the rivet on the apartment building, but they did not use the rivet on the terraces. The apartment building was a 5-story, very complicated structure, but it went so well. I think there was only, when we finished the project, there was only maybe, it was around $13 million project, and I think there was only 2% variation for the contractor. The contractor was really frustrated because they wanted to have more variation to get more profit, but there was almost no changes because the drawing done, really, really coordinated, really done well. Because we use the 3D, almost not the full beam, but we use on the terraces, the architect did not use it, and there was some, although we built it, there was a lot of, we had to stop, build, because So.
Oh, Tom, is it a private-public partnership, this project?
No.
That means the Fletcher Living buy the land.
So obviously we got a partnership with the Takara, so the government, so they sell us the land. Once we finish the project, we need to pay for the land. But the partnership is that if we reach a certain amount of return, we need to give them money. So Supernova 5, we're going to pay them back a lot more because we done really well and there was a good profit, so they can get some money back. The government. So by example, with partnership, but they get a lot of say, a lot of the time to what we build. They're part of the process, so they want to build all apartments, they want to build all terraces. It's all about discussion. They want, so it's all, they want to us, to build a city that looks nice the way they say we sometimes different to you.
It means they sell you the land, but you just need to pay later, right?
When you
Using a
finish
proper sharing.
Yeah, when you finish the project, we
Uh-huh.
pay the land. But the way Fletcher work, we do some pre-sale now, but normally basically all our development, you walk into a ready house. Basically, Fletcher pay all the way through, and then as a customer, you just walk into a complete house. So you don't have a choice about the color, the kitchen, everything. You walk into a finished house. Yeah, some people like it because you don't need to make decisions. Yeah. Obviously, So before we start with the project, we do, we need to do feasibility study. We need to get the right IRR, and all those to make sure that we can start. So we need, we got a piece of land. The Tucker will say, find a pub, and we can show them that if we put more terraces, the profits go higher. So we make some agreement at the end what we're going to build. And so we also take the risk. Yeah.
Is it in
Lansing.
Alliance? Could that be a good one?
No, we got a development agreement with the government. It's a separate contract. It's just a development agreement done many years ago with the government, and we got one contract. Sometimes we got a lot of the contract that we use with our trade. We got our own contract trade agreement, and sometimes if you're the main contractor, we just use 3910.
So the project is
I don't know, it's a good question, but yes, we got our supply chain. We got obviously we got Fletcher on a lot more the placemaker. They want fair, they want Jeep, they want insulation, big bats, they got steel, they got everything, they got diamond roof, every product going to the building they buy Fletcher. But part of this agreement with the Tucker rights means that we cannot feed our supply chain. We must find the most cost effective. We need to go to tender for everything, especially if Fletcher involved. So we actually go out to places like ITM, placemaker, Carter for our supply. And funny enough, most of the placemaker not always win the job. A lot of the stuff that we actually use stuff come from ITM. Because it's frustrated us because a lot, even if it's out of the town development, sometimes we don't use ITA because we go to still want. Because Fletcher Living is part of Fletcher, but it's a different entity from Placemaker. So obviously we all work under the same, but we're not the same. We're different group in Fletcher, so we're trying to make as much profit as we can. They obviously try to make as much profit as they can. So sometimes we must go to Fletcher. We don't have a choice, but out of the town. But if we got choice, we'll go to a tender. And a lot of the time, ITM manage to beat Fletcher. So things like a lot of time, things that frustrated us that we cannot go directly to Fletcher company like the Jeep. We need to go through a merchant placement. So, we don't have a choice. So a lot of the time, they treat us, almost like. Yes.
Yeah. And I see that now these days we have some developer, quite a young one, the young rising star, the willing operation. Yes. How do you position, compare the positioning of the Fletcher Living with them?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the different. I mean, we don't compete with. They do a completely different stuff that we do. They normally do a bit smaller. They don't like to have the size as us. But they almost normally, if you look at 90% of what they do, basically, it's exactly. If you go to one development, it's exactly the same as the other development. It's basically it was more built to Airbnb. None of them got car park. None of them even got a great car park. Basically, always part of the street. It's not to people. It's more for Airbnb and rental. And they do it completely different. They don't have the architecture that we do. they use exactly the same. So yeah, they're a lot cheaper sometimes than us. We can compete with them when we do the 1 or 2 bedroom. Yeah, we can build the same cost, but we're not trying. We're different. Yeah.
Yeah, you're targeting to different market actually. Right. Yeah.
But they used to be always the Airbnb. So it's more. It's a small unit, 2 bedroom, smaller window. We put bigger window.
Yeah.
Another thing that we need to put in all the development, because it is in the city center, all our development got full mechanical ventilation, which means that you can sleep at night and basically without the need to open the window. Yeah? So you got a full air system, that's air coming in and air coming out. Yeah. And and it's normally go to an heat exchange system, so it's collect all the hot air, the bathroom and kitchen and everything, pass it through the cold air high, so it's warm it up when it's get in. So yeah, they don't do it again. So we basically we need.
Since you're in-house QSS project manager for years, so do you rely on a tool to improve overall efficiency after a project?
Since then,
Do you rely on a tool or something to improve your overall efficiency after
the team, you mean the QSS? Yeah, we normally what is after every project we finish, we do like a post-project review, and we just make sure that we done everything the way we wanted to do. We bring the sales people, make sure that they got what they wanted, what we promised them. We work through all the subcontractors to use, make sure that they've done all the work. One of the main things is health and safety for us. No negotiation, so make sure they're all done. The health and safety. They all remark about the quality, timing, and safety. And we also go over our process again to make sure. So we always got a post-contract evaluation here.
I'm conscious that some of these students have got to go to a class, so we'd just like to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much.